and a humbling experience to be involved in helping to reshape the future of a city. I have come to believe in my years in being involved in politics that there are three attributes that leaders need to have. They need to be curious, they need to be nimble, and they need to have an appetite for risk. Curious, and you've demonstrated your curiosity by inviting me and visiting Pittsburgh, where Carnegie Mellon University is. To be nimble and have an appetite for risk means to challenge the status quo. And you're doing that on this site. This site has been like this for many, many years, and you're going to change it. Pittsburgh was facing a really bleak future 30 years ago. Pittsburgh was a city during World War II that made more steel than Germany, Japan, and Italy combined, if you can imagine that, in just one place in America. But through the 70s and the 80s and the early 90s, that steel industry collapsed. 400,000 people left Pittsburgh looking for better opportunities. When I became mayor in 1994, Pittsburgh was managing decline. We made a series of decisions about Pittsburgh, much like you did here, what you're doing today, that focused on the future. Cities can spend all their resources just on the status quo, on paving streets and making sure the public is safe. But you need to do more. You need to make these kind of investments in the future. With the loss of the steel industry, people weren't sure where people were going to work in Pittsburgh. But the president of Carnegie Mellon University at the time, and this is in the mid-90s, said, we can be the economic engine of this region. None of us believed that really, but we began to work with the universities in building a very strong partnership and helping to fund research buildings and incubators for fledgling startups and we're getting real venture capital to invest into Pittsburgh. And because of the world-class research now going on at Carnegie Mellon University and the University of Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh is now home to hundreds of startup companies and have a significant presence by large corporations like Google and Apple and others that have invested in Pittsburgh because of the research. While we were trying to seed a new economy, we faced a city also that had great environmental challenges because of the legacy of the steel industry. We built a continuous riverfront park. We invested heavily in arts, music, and the culture, as you are doing. Pittsburgh does not have a warm climate all the time, and we're not near the ocean, but we had other assets we could take advantage of. It's a story that continues to be written, but I believe my time as mayor, we changed the trajectory of the city to have a better future. But I learned one lesson, one critical lesson. That lesson was that every time you make a decision, and Mayor, you'll appreciate this, every time you make a decision, there's at least 100 people that are going to be opposed to the idea. And if they win, the status quo wins. Or the choice is really, do you stay where you are, or do you reach for the future? And you're reaching for the future. With the challenges of technology, the economy, climate change, and demographics, every city in the world needs to reach for the future. I want to congratulate you on your efforts. I'm honored and humbled to be part of it. Good luck.